Next source document, credit memo, also called as invoice or bill. Now, as the name suggests, credit memo is issued in case of credit sale of goods. So, goods is compulsorily involved, and credit sale means the seller is selling right now but is not receiving any money on spot, or some amount is still outstanding. So, credit memo is issued. Who makes the credit memo? Who will make? Seller makes the credit memo. So, maker of credit memo is the seller, and receiver of credit memo is the buyer. There can be a question asked, explain credit memo. So, you have to explain that in case of sale of goods, supplier issues credit memo or invoice, and buyer at that time, since it is credit sales, buyer is not giving any cash. So, that bill is important for the proof that credit sales has taken place. Now, credit memo number is a number which is pre-printed number, and it is serially numbered. You have to put the date. This is the name of the seller. Now, common details of the seller like address, telephone number, email, etc. To whom? To the buyer. And you have to compulsorily record the general details of the buyer, because you have sold the goods. The goods have gone out but cash has still not been received. So, if you need to trace the person, you can take help of this source document. So, details like address, telephone number, email, etc. should be recorded in your credit memo. See here, serial number, description of the goods sold, quantity of the goods, rate, and the total value, the total amount is written here. Then signed by the maker, amount is in words is given. Okay. Generally your CST number or VAT number is also given. So, you by now you know that credit memo is pre-printed serially, and the name and address of the buyer is equally important to be put in the credit memo. See, like the cash memo, you will also make at least 2 copies of your credit memo. The original copy you will give to the buyer, and the duplicate copy you will keep. You yourself means the seller will keep. The duplicate copy will be kept by the seller, on basis of which the accountant will record journal entry of credit sales in his book, and the original copy will be given to the buyer to record the information in their book. Okay. And one more thing to remember, seller calls credit memo as outward invoice. उसने बाहर दिया है. So, seller ने bill दिया है. So, seller is calling it as outward. Goods are going out for the seller. Okay, and he is giving the bill. So, outward invoice. And for buyer is receiving the goods. Buyer के लिए purchase है. So, it will be inward invoice. Same credit memo is called differently. In books of seller, the credit memo is called outward invoice. On sales, goods are going out. In books of buyer, it is called as inward invoice. Thus, goods are coming in. And so now you know that Seller calls it outward invoice, buyer calls it inward invoice, and we verify the credit sales on basis of these documents called as credit memo, and we take them as the source documents. So next source document now.